Ideally, when writing code, mobile applications in this time, there are secrets you have to use definitely. So most times, what I generally advise is you sort of have so there are all these cloud service providers provide this sort of service, a key vault, where you can securely store your keys and secrets, and all you need is an access token to actually access it. So normally what would happen is before you even try to get those secrets from the key vault, you have to be authenticated, and the authentication you provide by logging in, and that login goes through an API. So probably the only secret thing you will see is the API route if you are reverse engineering my app. And of course, if you are not authenticated to actually log in, I would have provided this authentication and security on the server end of everything. So if you are not authenticated, my class side provider provides me firewall that scans traffic. So if you want to brute force, it will at some point in time bounce you back. So if you're not authenticated, you are not able to connect to the key vault to get all keys that you think you want to get in my application. So it's essential that when using application to provide a sort of authenticated access. That's why most times some of these apps have logins and all that. But keying in secrets into applications is actually very, very dangerous. And of course, another thing you shouldn't do is checking secrets into source control. So it should be like a sort of environment variable that you use in your applications. So when you log in, you fresh these tokens are fresh, store it somewhere safe, and then you retrieve it from there, not within the application. And that is sort of the way I would approach it. But storing secrets like maybe client secrets, API keys, all those sort of things, some things that can actually and the one thing I advise mostly is all the ad computation work, leave it on the server side so that the server handles all the computation work. All you need to do is just do a get, post, patch, delete, whatever request to API through your API route. And if you need to be authenticated, do it. Fetch your token afresh every time you need to perform this task, such that your token is not stored on the application instance when the application is running. And that is the way I would approach it.
Expose or do a system-wide broadcast. Sometimes newbies into Android development, while trying to send a broadcast to some services or background services within their app, send the broadcast externally or send the do an external broadcast. So the broadcast is being sent system wide. So any application installed on that device that is listening on that broadcast channel will be able to capture whatever data that is being broadcasted and use it for anything. So we have to be any developer, any mobile developer will have to be careful about how he or she sends app broadcasts. So another thing is before you deploy your application, I think it's very very important that you obfuscate your code. Yeah, there are some tools that can help you do that. Like you have the program tool, which is actually part of the Android build tools. Yeah, it's a part of I think yeah, so I think you can configure that via Gradle. So with that, it actually helps you obfuscate your code before you deploy. So most frameworks now actually help you do it automatically. So once you build for production, ProGuard helps you obfuscate your code. But as uh, as an extra step of carefulness, I think it's advisable that you confirm that this configuration exists in your Gradle settings so that you don't assume that the framework has actually helped you do this, whereas it's non-existent in your code. Yeah, so another very important thing is uh, before you deploy your application to the store, it's very, or even before you share it to the public, especially when you're done with your development, I think you should check your Android manifest files for some loose ends. For example, you have there is this flag. I think I think yeah, Android debuggable that is being set on your application tag. So if it's set to true, that means anyone can actually pull some information from your debug your application via ADB mode. So what that means is once the person plugs uh, a phone that has your application installed on it on his system, he can use Chrome tools to inspect whatever is going on within the application. Yeah. So and also we should my advice again, there is another filter that is called uh, allow backup. Yeah, that's another filter that a developer should be careful about. So that filter, as a developer, you should actually ensure that that filter is set to false before you deploy your application to production, so
What's
that
the name of the
users.
filter?
Hello, can you hear me? So that hello, I
No,
didn't get you.
the name of the filter. What's the name of the filter?
It's allow backup. Android colon allow backup. That's the name of the filter. So what it actually does is it allows your application data to be backed up once USB debugging is enabled. And one funny thing about it is that if it even works even while the device is not rooted. So it doesn't actually require it doesn't actually require root access to backup for an attacker or whoever wants to get your application information to back up your application data. So that trigger or that flag should always be set to false. So another I think uh, another I think another thing a mobile developer should be careful about is, I advise a mobile developer to do is to set triggers on his application using Google Play services. So with that, he can actually get notified when newer versions of or when versions of his application is being deployed. So how this why this is very important is because an attacker can gain access to your application, modify it, and deploy it without you being able to know or without you knowing. So with these triggers, you get notified once a new version of your application is being deployed, and of course, uh, you can actually it gives you traces also of the changes that were made on the application. So I think another advice would still be to use a secure repository, maybe to store your data. I think Dara threw more light on uh, how to secure your application information, especially your configuration files. So then don't store too much information on the application and always manage sessions within your application. I think that's pretty much it.